I'm in the wrong one.
All right, it's 6 o'clock on October 8th. The Milford High School Building Committee meeting will come to order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the September 9th, 2025 minutes that I know have been distributed. Any discussion, or any, a motion? Motion from Al Correa, second from Chris Wilson. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify saying aye, and that's unanimous with Carlos and Rick Valani abstaining. Okay. Second item on the agenda is the approval of warrants. We have a warrant for $80.40, which was for the advertising for the Owner's Project Manager RFS, and we have a time, we'll do them separately. So the warrant of $80.40 for advertising. Motion, Mitch Rossetti, second by Kevin McIntyre. All those in favor? And that is unanimous, and I'll circulate that for signatures. We have timesheet from Melissa Bullock for the September 9th meeting in the amount of $307.40. Motion from Mike Walsh, second Patrick Collins. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the OPM contract and the authorization to sign. The contract, we have an approval letter from the MSBA where they discussed this at their meeting of Monday. I'm just trying to remember. We did receive the letter yesterday. They approved our selection of Next Level OPM. And embedded in their approval letter is the MSBA's approval is also based upon the town's representation that the eligible applicant for the town has designated Jonathan Bruce as the chairman of the Milford High School Building Committee as the individual who shall have the authority to act on behalf of the owner under its contract with the OPM. So what I would ask for is, we've talked about this, I talked to town council. As the chairman of this body, the authority would be there to sign, but I would feel more comfortable with a motion, a second, and a vote to authorize me to be the designated person, to actually authorize the chairman, who happens to be me at the moment, to have the authority to act on behalf of the owner under this contract.
So moved.
Motion, Al Correa, second, Mike Walsh. Any discussion on that? So all those in favor of that, and that is also unanimous. So with that, that has given me the authority to do it, and everyone has seen the contract, so I'd look for a second motion to authorize me specifically to sign the contract with Next Level OPM LLC for the Owner's Project Management Services for this project. Motion by Mitch Rossetti, second by Patrick Holland. Any discussion on that? Then all those in favor, signify saying aye. Okay, that is also unanimous. I will execute 3 original copies that James Reefstall has brought, one for us, one for him, and one for the town accountant. And with that, the next item on the agenda is the designer selection overview, that the first job that our newly hired OPM will go through what is the process, and I'll just give you a preview. It's a lot different than the OPM process, dramatically different. So James, if you could reintroduce yourself, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. It was a bit of a long journey. It felt like it, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad I am here again, and we can resume the project. Keep it going. I think I have a slideshow. I just need to figure out how to turn the TV on, and then we will be good.
Put a quarter in the meter.
Sorry? Put a quarter in the meter. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Does this go that way?
That
I
one,
think it goes this way.
This goes this way.
Patrick, yeah.
Does this one? This one's done,
That
right?
one's come, should have, I believe it went all around.
Maybe not the group there.
All right.
If you don't mind as well, I'll sit and drive from here.
Front row, please.
Front row, sure, no problem. With me today, for those who are in with the OPM process, you know Suresh. Suresh is
Hi, Suresh.
Bhatia. He is a project advisor on here. It's always good to have the second pair of ears. And, specifically, well, many reasons. He's been doing school construction for over 40 years. I mean, I don't know, you know, but in OPM for 15, and he currently has 3 other core projects in the pipeline. So that's what I like, and that's what I want for Milford. It's like we're in a day and age where the MSBA is constantly evolving. Even the designer RFS, they had just updated it August 2025. So it's nice to have that experience. And that he just did it 3 months ago on another project. So Suresh, this is Suresh, everyone.
Welcome.
Yep, thank you. Oop. Let's try that. In 30 seconds, Jonathan went through the first 3 items. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
We're up to your overview. If you could explain, please, how the designer selection process works.
Will do. And I'm also showing you this in general. This is our first, so Jonathan's been through this, a few of you have been through this before. As your OPM, my job, one of my primary jobs is to instruct you folks on this MSBA process and how to guide you through it, make sure we have no missteps, much like the eligibility period. So every month or every meeting we have, every biweekly, that's what we can expect. There will be typical months, one meeting a month, but there will be times where we need to have 2 meetings in a month to get things passed to meet the MSBA schedule, and also to get you guys information as you need to make decisions in a timely manner. So I'll be having presentations just like this, where it'll have the agenda, and we'll have the approval of the minutes, the warrant, or a budget update. I'll provide you a budget update at the, as we go forward, and then these one-off items. But I also want to take a step back. I just heard recently, and it's not a bad analogy. The MSBA process is a bit of a marathon. You guys, what was it, December 2023? When you guys were invited into the program. This is now 2025, and you just now got the OPM, and we're now moving into the designer. And now we have about 20 months of feasibility and schematic design, where we're going to go from many options down to one. And then we still have design, and then finally going to bid and construction. So where we're looking at ultimately, so as we're showing here, this is the MSBA process. What I want to show you is, so we are at module 2 forming the team. Not sure why the mouse isn't working. But as you can see there on the middle row. So we have a ways to go. There's a feasibility schematic, but just I'm not going to go through all that, but just to let you know, this is where we're at. And another view of it, they have these things called modules. There's up to 8 modules actually, and 9 that they have closed. I forget what the module 9 is. It's a recent new one. Just how the building commissioning, I think, is what it is. And but so this is where we are at. You have the OPM on board. Next step is the designer. So I'm going to give you try to be brief, but also try to give you enough information. So hopefully there will be a Q. I'm all for Q&A. I know this is a meeting. I'll let you direct how that should go if people have questions. But
I still run the meeting.
Exactly. But please, that's right. So we'll just get right into it. In all of Massachusetts, whenever there's a designer to be selected on a project, they need to go in front of the Massachusetts Designer Selection Board. Well, the MSBA has created their own version of that for their projects, and it is a 16, I'm probably jumping the gun here, but we'll go with it. It's a 16-member panel, of which Milford, or any district, only has 3 seats on that. So just FYI.
Could you repeat that, please? Because the reason I say that is the OPM process was specific for the committee to appoint the subcommittee to do the entire job. Finalize the RFS, advertise it, rank them, interview them, make a recommendation back to this board, and then this committee voted it, that goes to the MSBA, and we got the letter of approval that they accepted it. Designer selection, completely different. We will deal with part of it that he'll explain, but at the end of the day, we have 3 seats on a panel of 16 that's going to make that decision. Completely different.
And so who are those 3 people? Well, one member shall be, school committee rep, superintendent or his designee, or the CEO of the city town or the CEO's designee. So we will eventually be making, as this group, deciding who those 3 are going to be.
No, it's not no. School committee, we have no say in this. Time out. One is out of the town hall, CEO, which is whether it's Volani or O'Laughlin at the moment. I'm not sure if it's the chairman of the select board or Volani, we're not sure, but they will work that out. Superintendent or his designee, and school committee, not school building committee appointment. We don't get a seat at this table as a building committee. Okay?
Unless a designee. But yeah.
Unless it's designated, unless
Yeah.
the school committee designates somebody from here, but it's a representative of the school committee, not a representative of the building committee.
And let me take a step back right now, I'll go more fully into schedule, but just to, let you guys breathe. The OPM process, absolutely, that was just go, and this, we have time. And I'll go through the schedule. So there's no decisions that need to be made tonight. This is purely informational.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? Because this is a perfect segue in. I want to explain some numbers. Assuming or accepting the reality, we live in inflationary times of about 4%, exclusive of tariffs or other unknowns. We'll call it 4%. For every $100 million this project costs, 4% is $4 million a year, just in inflation. That works out to $333,000 per month. Every time we delay this a month, the project cost will go up $333,333 per $100 million. We know this is not a $100 million project. Go from there. So I will continue to drive this like a rented mule to get us done as speedily as possible without, there is no reason, unless there's a legitimate reason to delay, and there could be. Other than that, and James will talk about, there's actually 2 dates that we can fit into, and I already told him to get the early date for this reason. So just, you got to always keep it in your mind. $250,000 per month per $100 million of project cost is what delays cost. I'm sorry, thank you for letting me, I needed to get that message across at some point.
Not to belabor it, but the MSBA's just its own meeting check-in process, its own oversight process gives enough time, for decisions to be made, and they give enough time for themselves to review. Let me put it that way. So we try to meet their schedule as best we can. These are just the advertising. This, again, as Jonathan's already said, we create an RFS that is really a template provided by the MSBA, just like the OPM RFS was a template that you guys filled out. It's the same thing. There's very little we can add. There's very little modifications we can make.
And in this case, you'll be creating that.
That's right.
To bring to this committee for approval, rather than us having a subcommittee to create that. He'll be doing that.
That's right. In many cases, that's a great point. I will be until the designer's on board, I will be generating a lot of these documents or whatever it is. Your heavy lifting should be just making decisions and being and understanding the process. Once the designer comes on board, then there's a work share between the designer and me, designer next level, as we create the documents going forward. So just give you an idea. This is just a brief overview of the selection criteria that's in the RFS. You know, it has to be a qualified designer. They must be MCPPO certified. If anyone doesn't know what that is, that's you have to be certified in the state and basically know the procurement laws. And so I am MCPPO certified. Suresh is. All OPMs that work on MSBA projects must be, and they even require the designer to also be MCPPO certified. Mitch knows, and Rick, public procurement is not as easy as it could be. There's a lot of stuff you need to know. So, they must agree to a contract with MBE, WBE business goals, and established by this. So part of this, we have to reach out to the SDO and get the percentages. Just to put a plug, it's a goal. It's not a contract requirement. So, but we want everyone to try to make their best effort. So, and obviously, you look at past experience and performance, their current workload, and who the proposed project team is, and their financial stability. You know, all things that should sound normal. In red.
This is like amazing.
The preview will happen is that we submit, we send out the RFS, and we ask them for submissions. We ask them for submissions back. Say we'll get 10 submissions for easy numbers. Could be one, not in this case, but you know, and it could be as many as 12. You know, it doesn't. You know, the sky's the limit. The MSBA is very specific that you can review these, you can look at them, but you can't rank them. You can discuss. You can discuss, but you can't rank. So, so you can make yourself informed about it, but you can't rank. That ranking will occur at the designer selection review panel meeting. So now you can clearly make your own conclusions, but no rankings should occur. So when we get there, we'll rehash this moment, but I'm just putting it in your mind now so that you know. But that's basically the what's going behind it. And like I said, we'll have time to discuss. And the rankings is simple, as explained there. First place gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1. Whoever has the most points in the end, those will be the top 3 ranked. And, you know, assuming most likely if we get 3, we'll want to interview them, and then there'll be another process.
Who does the interviewing? That panel of 16? Or?
Yes, a panel of 16, which is the 13 of them and 3 of us. So, and to answer, you know, a little more detail there, yeah, the 3 will provide a presentation, and then each panel member has an opportunity to ask a question or comment. And so it is at that point where the district has the opportunity to provide any insights that they found, positive or negative, on each, you know, and provide that insight to the rest of the other 13 voting members. And they, more often than not, well, they can listen or not. So. There it is. May request interviews. It's been very rare that you don't get enough, you know, maybe a school in the western part of the state or something, but there's just not many of that architects out there. Milford doesn't fall in that boat. They're going to get plenty of interest in this project, especially as complex and as large as it is. So after that voting at that meeting is when we can award the contract. I will create the contract. I'll gather all the documents, you know, the submission, the RFS, and create one final contract for everyone, for the district to sign off on, and the architect to sign, and we'll submit that to the MSBA. In my experience, I have not seen, you know, the district unhappy with the folks chosen. It would be one of their top unranked 3. it would be someone that I would most likely agree with. Anyway, I'm just giving you that historical feedback. I don't know if you've been, okay, agreed, thank you.
I just want to reiterate, my now decades-long experience with MSBA is they got to figure it out. They know what they're doing, and they get it right. So, I mean, it looks weird. It looks like we get 3 and we don't rank and we do it, but it always seems to work out.
That's right. Yep. So here's the schedule that I've been talking to. So that was the process. Now here's the actual schedule. And as you can tell, today is October 8th. And so they're asking for the RFS due to the MSBA October 30th. I'm going to get it to them this week. It's not that bad. But what I can't speed up.
Oh, go on.
What I can't speed up then is the ad placed in the designer services for November 13th, and then the ad appears November 19th. This is all discussed this is all put in writing by the MSBA. If it were up to us, we'd put this out to bid tomorrow.
I could ask a question. You get the RFS to them within a day or two.
Yeah.
But they have to give us they have to approve it.
Correct.
And then, once it's approved, we have to vote to publish it, to
That's right.
accept it.
Yes.
So with that in mind, I'm going to jump in, because do you have the alternate date there? But I could just
I
tell
did
you.
not.
Okay.
Let me
The alternate-
briefly-
The
yeah.
alternate date is 2 weeks later, and I
That's
asked
right.
James, get it done for the 30th, rather than the 2 weeks later.
There's no problem of getting this.
And that means that we should meet here on October 22nd to approve it, and then if there's a glitch, we still have the 29th
Yep.
to get it back for the 30th. So our next meeting will be here on October 22nd at 6 o'clock, and one of the items on the agenda will be the approval, our approval and acceptance of the MSBA-approved RFS. Because a 2-week delay is $175,000 per $100 million of the project.
Through the chair, if I can.
Sure. go ahead, Mitch.
If it's really just a standard form, and it is, these things are pretty standard, and we're just putting it in the central register and we're advertising, the MSBA reviews it and they issue an acceptance, can we just vote that tonight to just allow James to post it?
We could, I mean,
There's really not another- it doesn't seem like-
I mean, in fact, the last one was voted in advance to accept the MSBA-approved RFS. If you want to do that, we could do that and not meet the 22nd unless something comes up. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Is
I would second that.
That's a form of motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
It's just really standard stuff.
It's very standard, so, I mean, it's a great idea. So we have a motion, a second.
Just quickly, yeah, so it's a boilerplate one that was included in the packet, right? And it
Yeah.
just basically filled in what Rich said, so for anybody that didn't see it in the packet, yeah, it's fill in the blanks.
While we're discussing that, I asked James to be prepared tonight to discuss information distribution. I don't know if you want to do that right now. I don't know how much you have left.
Nope, I was just going
Okay.
to say, I think that was it.
Okay, then
This is the
with that, then
schedule.
just hold that thought if you will. So I've got a motion, a second,
Yeah.
to authorize if it's necessary, the chairman to sign whatever's necessary to publish the MSBA-approved RFS for designer services. Motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. And that is unanimous. Okay, please continue. So that, we're not meeting the 22nd now unless we have to.
That's right. I'll submit this to the MSBA. They're going to come back with no comments or some comments, fix this, fix that. And then, but that's basically what it is. They're going to review it and make sure that it meets their muster. Yeah, all these dates are from the MSBA. We have no control over these dates. And this is when the designer selection panel meets bi-monthly. And the last two ones, they meet one time in December. Anyway, they chose these dates for us. So there's just no. This is what we're doing. But that's a perfect segue. Okay, you guys just voted on an approved RFS. Well, I want to get this to you guys, to this school building committee, so that you have it, so that you can review it, so that you're comfortable with what you just voted on. Let's do this right. So some of you may have seen my proposal or whatever, but I'm a huge proponent of bid docs. It started off as being like electronic bidding, but then they've expanded it to design, construction, all the way to archiving, so that you have this, so it's really soup to nuts, I don't want to get into too much, Procore is mostly used here in construction. This is used right now. And so this is an online platform. It's a repository of the project information. This is just going to be used for us, for the school building committee. We already have it under our belt. That this is the screen, what it looks like. It's going to be for all project documentation. So I guess it begs the question, how was it done before? And, as we all know, well, email, right? And so it all gets buried in your email and whatnot, inbox. This is everything's organized. You want to look back. We're in discussions, but anyway, you want to look back at the OPM selection, that'll potentially be up here. If you want to look at anything on the designer RFS or the designer submissions, it'll all be up here. And you could you bookmark this link, and then you can look and see where everything is. And if it's not up there, or if you think you're missing something, which it shouldn't be, I'm putting it up there. And that's what I do on. That's what your OPM does. He's the information, and you want that. Anytime I upload something up here, it'll automatically notify you. So you're not getting these big, heavy attachments in your email. You just, hey, this has just popped up here. Go check it out whenever you want. 3 a.m. in the morning, can't sleep. There you go. Let's do it. It'll have. For now, we're talking about the designer request for services, but sooner or later we'll have the drawings, the specifications, all of the submissions, the PDP, the PSR, and it'll all be up here. And so, there's a lot of information, and and for those, we want you to have that knowledge, with you at any time. And so, this is what we're going to use. I do have the final. It's one-way communication on all projects. That's really important, especially on these public projects. The MSC, we do not want to get in trouble with the IG's office, for having meetings outside of meetings, if you will. And so that's why, I put one way on there, so all the information is going from here to you guys. Now, if there's anything that needs to be discussed, you can come to me, or we can make I can make an edits. But what we can't have is, as you guys, if you've been on committees before, you can't have internal meetings and whatnot. So this kind of protects us in a way too, where I'm the one uploading, and then it goes out, and then you guys can just contact me if there's anything that we need to.
So to summarize it, my understanding is, as a document becomes finalized or even a work in process, for example, the minutes of this meeting will get posted on bid docs. Everyone who is registered with bid docs will get an email saying there's something new there, and you can go download it. It's a one-way street. You can't push back to it, because that's no different than a reply all, a potential open meeting law violation. And also, if it's not an instant open meeting law violation, it could end up being a serial open meeting law violation by having this two-way discussion. So to me, it was very important that it be a one-way street. I had experience with something similar to it called submittal exchange, which the contractors will use. And that's a much bigger system, because you would have plumbing stuff.
And this will handle it too.
You could do the same thing, but...
When we get there.
But, when we actually get there, everyone here will have the ability, if they use submittal exchange or whatever it is. I got everything. On Woodland, I said, send me everything. And as a result, when I went into that construction meeting Wednesday morning, I knew all the hot spots for every topic, as opposed to, the plumbing, the mechanical guy only knew the mechanical side, because he never saw the electrical side. So it's a tremendous amount of stuff coming down, but basically I would fly through it. If it had to do with paint colors, I just blew right by it, but if it was an issue. So we have a similar platform here that you will have the ability, and I know we already implemented it because I got invited today and I already signed up for it. So what would happen is, I would guess the first thing will be the RFS. Everyone will get an email. Melissa can provide the email address so she can circulate the invitation. Everyone will get an email. You sign up for it. As soon as he gets the RFS in a presentable form, you'll get notified it's there. It's up to you if you want to take it down, if you want to bring it down. I think it's a perfect solution.
I'll get the list from Melissa of the school building committee and their emails. I'll put that in the project directory. You guys will get an auto-generated email like what you got today. It's you create a username and password, and that's your, and you're in.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I
I
think
think that's the end, right?
that's it, yes.
Okay, so any questions about any of that? Anybody got any questions or comments? Because I think it actually deals with the next item, which is information distribution.
One question, James, so it's user-friendly?
It is.
Okay.
Well, what I like about it is it's really simple. You get a notice, it's up to you to bring it down, and you're instantly unless you actually forward the email to somebody or make a phone call, you can't get jammed up in an open meeting law violation because it's a one-way street. That's, to me, so critical.
No, you'll get the email saying, hey, the RFS is just uploaded. You click on that, and it'll take you right to that spot.
And you could download it, or you could read it on the screen, you could download it.
That's right.
Whatever you want.
Since I have it a little bit longer, one point, I just want, this is our first meeting, is that this is not just, I'm presenting to the school building committee, but the school building committee is made up of representatives from the school committee, select board, FinCom, wherever you went,
Planning board.
planning board. So what we have learned in our experience on other projects is that what we don't want to have in Milford is any of these other committees or boards being felt like they're left out. So I don't want to be giving you homework, but I'm giving you homework, and I would charge you to you're going to be the evangelizer of the project, or to your board. On other projects, I have gone to the other committees at times, just to because the last thing we want is committees fighting amongst themselves. We need Milford to be unified on this. And so we need FinCom to be on board, select board, school committee, all on the same page here, because ultimately this has got to pass the town vote. So that's all I'm saying. Is that's my one bit of homework for you guys. Is be the proselytizer to the.
Anybody have any questions for James regarding either the designer selection process or the distribution of information topics?
So that should stop the rumor mill that we're knocking the building down, turning it back into a farm, building a new school on the side of the street, and don't worry about how we're going to get the buses in there. That'll stop all that.
Mike, you're an optimist, aren't you?
That's right. We want to minimize that. Correct.
Gotcha.
All right, no other questions, hearing no other questions, and I believe we've covered information distribution with an appropriate solution, unless somebody has a comment on that. Then school committee update. Anything to add, Mr. Zakili?
No.
Then old business. Any new business? Then looking for a motion to adjourn. The race. McIntyre, second. Walsh. All those in favor?
All right.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, guys.